The biggest news story so far this year, for Canon at least, is that the EOS R5 Mark II is due out in the first half of 2024, and the leaks have already started. But what about the EOS R5c? Will it get a refresh, or was it a sales flop? Stick around after this short break for all the details. But first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, but most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps this channel grow, and it keeps you up to date on the latest camera gear, news, and rumors. The Canon EOS R5 was released in July 2020 and fast became the best-selling Canon EOS R system camera. In fact, it sold so well that it was in short supply for 18 months. Then in early 2022, once Canon was finally starting to ship enough R5s to meet demand, they released a cinema version of the EOS R5, the EOS R5c, which has exceeded Canon's sales expectations. But as time went on, as we moved into 2023, many Canon EOS R5c customers were beginning to feel forgotten. They weren't getting the regular firmware updates, providing enhancements and fixes that the Canon EOS R5 was getting. But when Canon dropped the firmware update 1.0.4.1 just a few months ago in June, adding many much needed enhancements, many began to think that a successor to the EOS R5c just might be possible. It improved the switching time between photo and video mode. It added a power saving mode. It added a digital teleconverter function, changed the waveform size, changed the scope's opacity, as well as the vector scope's gain and touch. So here we are, just 2 days away from the 3-year anniversary of the release of the Canon EOS R5. We are getting an EOS R5c Mark II. It doesn't look like this camera is going to go the way of, do you remember the 1 series camera, the cinema version, the Canon, what's it called, the EOS 1DC. It was a cinema version of the 1 series camera, the 1D, and it never got a refresh. That was it for that camera. Could it be that the Canon EOS R5c was a one-off camera? Well, the good news is this is coming from a known source at Canon Rumors, and it's rated as a CR2, so it's rather credible that we are definitely going to be getting the Canon EOS R5c Mark II, but the source claims that the follow-up isn't going to come at the same time as the EOS R5 Mark II. It's actually going to come a year later in 2025. I don't know, how do you feel? What do you think? I would really love to see the Canon EOS R5 and the EOS R5c announced at the same time, so we as videographers, photographers can compare both side by side. I'm definitely going to get the Canon EOS R5 Mark II when it comes out, but to be able to see them side by side, I might go, you know what, instead of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, I might just get the Canon EOS R5c Mark II, because if I go ahead and get the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and the EOS R5c comes out and there aren't too many differences, I'm probably just going to pass on the EOS R5c Mark II. Now, in terms of specifications, sadly, we don't have any specifics, nor do we have any other detailed information about this new Canon EOS R5c Mark II. But the good news is that love that we got in June, that new big firmware update, the new enhancements that we got in firmware 1.0.4.1, wasn't the end of Canon's love for this camera, that we are going to see a Canon EOS R5c Mark II. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really kind of excited by this camera. In a way, I would love to have this camera, but by having the Canon EOS R5, the way I shoot in my studio, the way I shoot run and gun, the overheating isn't an issue for me. And yes, I would like to have that active cooling, and yes, I'd like to be able to have some of those other capabilities, such as 8K 60, the Cinema OS that provides a more video-centric look, feel, and function. But still, I'm excited because this year we're supposed to be getting more teasings, more leaked specifications of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. And while the EOS R5 Mark II might be getting released in 2024, I think we're going to get an awful lot of leaks. By the end of this year, we're going to know exactly what the EOS R5 Mark II, I was going to say EOS R5c, but we're going to know exactly what the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to be about, what it's going to be able to do. And from that, we're going to be able to determine what we're going to see in the Canon EOS R5c Mark II, because it's going to be very similar in terms of the specs and the hardware. It's just going to differ in that it's going to be a cinema version of that. And according to Canon Rumors, the actual Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to be worked on. The video specifications are going to be worked on by Canon's cinema team. And for those of you that keep asking me about the firmware update for the old original Canon EOS R5, Well, we don't have any new information. Canon Rumors hasn't released any new information, and the only thing I can tell you is that based on what I've been able to garner from the past is the Canon EOS R5 firmware update, the big one, is still on its way. Canon's working on it, and as soon as it's done, it will be released, but I don't have any further information. The latest stuff that we have is what Canon Rumors released many months ago when we got pixel shift, and that the big firmware update is coming. We might get it in one single firmware update, or it might be spread over a couple of firmware updates. And the thing to remember is that even though we got a big firmware update for the EOS R5c, it's summer and not a lot's going on. There's a lot of vacations going on, so things are slowing down. But as we move into August, I think we might start to possibly see more announcements, and we're going to definitely see a lot of big camera announcements as we move into September and October. But a firmware update for the Canon EOS R5 in August, well, it's a possibility, but again, we don't have any information. But rest assured, a firmware update for that camera is coming out. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest camera news and rumors regarding the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, the Canon EOS R5c Mark II, firmware updates, the Canon EOS R1, then go ahead and subscribe, but make sure you also choose all notifications. And please, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, or even if you only tune in once in a while, subscribing really helps get this channel noticed. Once I hit 40,000 subscribers, I noticed a big difference in which companies were reaching out to me and who I could engage, and it's made a really big difference. And once I get to 50,000, 60,000, and all the way up to 100,000, it's really going to help this channel grow. And for all those minor news and rumor stories, for all those stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Something interesting about Twitter is the trademark for X. Well, Elon doesn't have that, so he might have some problems. Although he was able to take the X account from somebody else, they just took it from the guy. They didn't even give him any money. They offered him like a t-shirt and a mug or something. Can you believe that? The guy had it for something like 13 years, and yeah, Elon just said, yeah, sorry, we're taking it. Nice, right? Yeah, at least give the guys a nice little payout. It's not going to hurt you or anything. But anyhow, so the point of this is, on Twitter, not only do I put out news and rumor stories that aren't quite big enough to have their own separate video, I also put out big pricing information, and there's been a lot of great deals recently. The Canon EOS R5 was actually up to $850 off. Right now it's just $200 off. We're seeing sales in other cameras, and by using my affiliate links, these ones here, they really do help this channel out. I get anywhere from 2 to 12% back depending on which links you choose, which cameras you buy or lenses. And for everybody who has used those links, thank you so much. I can guarantee you I'm purchasing the Canon EOS R5 Mark II as well as the Canon EOS R1 when it comes out. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and hopefully the weekend coming up is great. It's actually my birthday this weekend. Can you believe that? And my birthday, I'm getting older. And I can't believe I'm reflecting. I've been doing this channel for almost 4 years now. 3 years and 3/4 I've been doing this. Wow. It started off as just something I wanted to do to improve my skills, to hopefully allow myself a little bit of pocket money to allow me to buy the next camera without having to dig deep into my pockets. And the response has been, well, it certainly exceeded my expectations. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for sticking around. We'll see you again soon.